justice for all. Okay, as I'm going to give the Zoom webinar information, either on our desktop or app. You can go to US2W Zoom. Well, that's really big. Anyway, you can go to 900-9128, webinar ID 842-1114-7279, passcode 93142. Anyway, this is a Zoom meeting, and if you are able to participate, very much. Do we have any changes to the agenda? No changes. Do we have a motion for council's approval of the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, our next item is presenting a key to the city of Coalinga to Mayor Ron Lander in honor of his many years of service to the community. Mr. Ramsey.
Okay. It's my pleasure to give the key to the city to our mayor, Ron Lander. Mayor Lander served on the city planning commission in 1989. He was elected to the city council in 1990. And he has served on the council for over 27 years. And this is his 17th year serving as mayor of Coalinga. And I was fortunate enough to be a lot of those years with him. We were kind of a team. So Ron is the longest sitting city council member in the history of Coalinga. And he's also been the longest serving mayor. And so with that, he likes it short and sweet. And so I'm gonna let him talk. And I would like to present the key to the city to Ron. And we usually save this honor for mayors. A going out mayor or a person that's been the mayor for Coalinga before. So we just don't give out these all the time. So we try to save it for the mayors. So thank you, Ron. Thank you. And I turn it back over to Ron.
Okay, am I supposed to say something?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, and it's been a pleasure working with so many people throughout the years, especially staff, and it's always staff who makes everything happen. We give direction, that's all we've ever done, but it's the staff that makes it happen, and I respect and admire the staff of this city through all the years. We've had good people and we've had bad people, but we have always survived, and it's because of teamwork. And especially now, in the way things are going, new council coming on, learn to work together and be strong together for the benefit of the community. I certainly appreciate the support that I've had from, excuse me, that I've had from the community all these years. And look forward to hearing from all of you down the road. Thank you all. Okay. Now we'll go back to citizens' comments. This section, excuse me, this section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify yourself, and please use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for follow-up and a report. Is there any comments? Citizens' comments? Seeing none? Excuse me. Okay, our next item is, yes. Okay, you do have one? I hate this thing.
All right, council, can you hear me? All right, first off, Honorable Mayor and Council, I'd like to express gratitude for all Mayor Lander has done and he's well deserving in the key to the city. I want to ask if, are you guys there?
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask if you guys, this is regarding the item for the new cannabis tax fees for outdoor grow. I want to ask if you guys have thought about what would happen if you lost all of the cannabis businesses that you have in town and not having any more come. Tonight, I'd like to persuade you to do some heavy research on your cannabis fee structure before moving forward and adding more fees. This can be accomplished by a comprehensive cannabis fee study, having meetings with industry members, and taking the time to make sure that Coalinga does not end up in a cannabis ghost town. So first, I would like to suggest that just like other fees you're charging, that the city do some research and find out what other cities and counties are charging. Find out what the highest and what the lowest is. This can be done with CannaRegs, which you probably already have a membership to, and also utilizing other agencies. Second, I would like to ask, how many meetings have you had with the industry regarding these fees? My guess is you probably have not. This is important because I know of at least one company interested in coming to Coalinga, but they've refused, stating that our taxes and fees are way too high and that they would not be able to be competitive. This is starting to be the word on Coalinga in the industry, is that Coalinga is overtaxed, overregulated, and overfeed. Third, I would like to state that there's no rush on this. However, if you overcharge people, then they're not going to come. People may decide to stay home. Others may decide to leave. I know at least one company who's thinking of leaving right now. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're tired of being overtaxed by the city. When these fees and regulations were passed, it was always the idea that the city would lower the fees and the taxes when more places started opening up. This is on tape. You can go back and find this. I think it was 2017, 2018. This was a deal. We discussed why we were putting these fees and taxes into place. And one of the reasons is the other agencies that were currently involved didn't have the ability to monitor the way that we wanted them to be monitored, and the industry was brand new. But it was always the idea that these would be taken down, and some of them completely removed altogether, not increased. Not increased. These regulations were meant to change with the times, and as more agencies come on board to oversee that industry, which the industry itself has at least 3 agencies that are overseeing it right now. In closing, I would like to say that there is only one way the city can legally generate revenue and income, and that's taxes. You can't do it with fees. Fees are only meant to cover the cost of what it takes for the city to recoup actual time and expenses. At this moment in time, I do not think the city is being honest with the fee structure. I do not think they're spending all those money in fees on this specific industry. I think that if they were asked to add up the amount of time they're spending, they'd fall short. The more businesses that come on board, the costs were supposed to fall. They haven't. They've gone up. Not up as in general, but as in the amount of people that have been paying has gone up. I feel like the city has taken in money and fees that they shouldn't be, that they should not be allowed to. I think that the fees need to be lowered across the board to match the amount of actual time and input that the city is putting into this. And I think after listening to the last, 6 or 8 weeks of how certain agencies don't have the time to do this, and about how certain agencies are always under the gun, that it's a proof that this has not been being done.
Nathan.
So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, our next, any other comments? Yes, we have another.
Mr. Barcenas, you are unmuted, so you can make your public comment.
It's not coming through. Okay. Can we put it on hold until later and then we can bring it back?
I
Okay.
have someone else.
Pardon me? Oh, you have another one? Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Nancy Jeffcoach. I don't know if this is the right time to address this, but if it's not, just let me know. I guess we have been notified as Eagle members that possibility of a section of Durian in the 100 block will be possibly changed to Landers Lane.
Nancy, we're gonna
Yes,
opportunity to speak against it or for it. We're going to open that up in just a few minutes. If you could bear with us just for a few minutes.
perfect. Thank you. I will. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Are there any others? Okay.
Mr. Barcenas, you are unmuted, so if you can make your public comment now.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Casey Dalton. Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'd like to first just give a quick update of our project, the Outdoor Grow, the Outdoor Cultivation Grow, and again, just extend my gratitude for the vote in favor of it. We're getting close to having a piece of our first harvest early next week. Although all odds were against us growing in the winter, we've had incredible results and are very excited to share the update in the next 3 weeks with you. We anticipate being able to have all the plants harvested by mid-January. I also just wanted to express my gratitude to the mayor. And even though, you know, when we came into town 5 years ago, you know, it was a no vote. You always treated me personally and my family and the business with the utmost respect, and it will always be remembered. You showed me how two people cannot be in agreement and yet get along very well. So I just wanted to say thank you for those, for, you know, the opportunities that have been given to our company. I appreciate the research that's going into the outdoor cultivation fee structure, and I hope that you know, there's research as far as what else is going on in the state. I'm happy to assist in any way possible there, but that pretty much sums it up. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Just a real quick comment, Casey. I have a T-shirt now. I had it made up. It's called Mr. No.
I love it. I'll take a picture with you in it.
Okay.
Out at the grow. Although that was a yes, so maybe at the lounge. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Council. Have a good evening.
Any others? Okay, we have additional comments coming.
Oh,
Mr.
can you all hear me?
Dalton, unmuted, you can make your public comment now.
Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Hey, my name is Freddie De La Paz. I work with the California Health Collaborative nonprofit organization. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Lander for all he's done for the city. Yeah, it's a great record, and yeah, I just want to congratulate you on your final meeting and everything you've done. But I'd like to introduce myself and just let you all know that we'd like to take part in any activities and provide our resources to be able to, more than anything, facilitate resources for the youth regarding health and health equity in the city of Coalinga, and just be of service however we might be able to do so. I have sent an email to I believe most of the members on the city council, if not all of them. But yeah, you can reach out to me again. I will make sure and send up a follow-up email so that you can contact me if you would like to collaborate or would like more information. But thank you all very much. And yeah, I wish you all a great holiday season.
Thank you. Are there any others? There's no other comments at this time. Okay, we're going to go into public hearing. Okay, we have one item. That's this council consideration and adoption. Let's try that again. Council consideration and adoption of resolution number 3993, changing the 100 block of West Durian Avenue to Lander Lane. At this time, I am going to declare a potential conflict of interest on this issue, so I will leave the room, and Mayor Pro Tem Ramsey will handle this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lander. We're going to open up the public hearing right now. If you have any calls from the audience, go ahead and get a hold of our person, council. Or Adam, I'll let you go ahead and talk because you
Okay.
brought this up.
Yeah, I
so.
brought this forward. I was wondering if we may be able to table this to the next meeting because I would like to work with some of the community members to see if we can come up with something that's a little bit better. I know there's some community right across the street who have some issues with it. I like to meet with them in person and discuss ways that we can come to a mutual agreement and something that all sides would be happy with. So I was hoping we could table it till the next meeting.
Council? Okay, I agree too, so. Okay, we're going to go ahead and table this, and we'll have it on the next agenda item.
If I,
Or-
Mario, so if it's tabled to continue, it's just basically the public hearing is continued, correct? We have to open the public hearing though?
Well, it
Well, I'll
depends.
close-
If you want to take public hearing or public comments now during the public hearing, it does need to be open. Those comments can be taken and the public hearing can then be closed. But if you're going to change the item in some way, I'm not,
It might not, yeah, it might not.
Well,
do
we
that
have
yet.
to, I'm just confirming whether or not we have to renotice the meeting.
then regardless whether you open it or not, you should continue it to, we have to, what's the date on the first meeting in January?
January 7th.
So there has to be a motion then to continue it to the January 7th meeting, and so that we don't have to republish the hearing.
Okay,
How
thank
about-
you.
Then I'll make a motion to continue to January 7th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. 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 Okay, that's all we have to do then, right there, right? Okay. So that item was tabled, everyone, and it's going to be brought up at the January 7th meeting again. And we also will have a public hearing on that day.
Sure.
We'll just continue the public hearing.
Sure.
Okay, now I'm going to turn it back over to Mayor Lander.
Okay, our next item is the consent calendar. We have 16 items. Item 1 is approve the minutes of November the 5th, 2020. Item 2 is the check register from October 1st, 2020 through October 31st, 2020. Item 3 is approval of the comprehensive fee for the Consumer Price Index CPI update effective January 1st, 2021. Item 4 is authorization for city manager to sign and submit local transportation development funds for fiscal year 2018 through 2019. Item 5 is approve the renewal of the exclusive authorization and right to sell agreement between the City of Coalinga and Midstate Realty. Item 6, waive the second reading of ordinance number 845, amending the ordinance related to construction water meters. Item 7 is adoption of resolution number 3992, establishing a construction water policy. Item 8, consideration of bid award for Sunset Street Rehabilitation Project. Item 9, consider construction bid award for the Polk Street Rehabilitation Project, 5th to Elm Avenue. Yay, long overdue. Item 10 is City Council adoption of resolution number 3994, establishing an annual regulatory licensing fee for commercial cannabis outdoor cultivators and an annual license fee for packaging-only manufacturers. Item 10 is authorize Public Works to enter into a professional service agreement with TJKM Transportation Consultants to develop a local roadway safety plan. Item 12, award AP Tritton with the contract for the standards of cover and community risk assessments for the Fire Department. Item 13 is information only regarding the Coalinga Police Department's response to the governor's curfew order. Item 14 is adopt a resolution number 3995, revising the basic pay scale. Item 15, adopt resolution number 3996, revising the police sworn pay scale. Item 16, Public Works, Utilities, and Community Development Monthly Report for October 2020. Is there any item that you would like to pull or discuss, Council?
Number 10.
Number 10, item number 10. Any others?
13.
Number 13. Okay. Okay, Adam, go ahead, please.
Sean, can you kind of go over with us what the numbers are? And are we mirroring exactly what we have for indoor grow for the outdoor grow as well?
Yeah, so it's great. So what we did, we used the same methodology we did when we established the initial fee. In terms of, and the reason why this is being brought to the council is due to the fact that the council has initiated and permitted outdoor cultivation licensing. And so in order to look at least a comparable rate compared to what our current rates are for cannabis licensees, we've developed an outdoor cultivation licensing fee. So at least we have a fee in place related to outdoor compared to that of indoor. So we're at least we're issuing a fee related to that. Now, if it needs to be changed, that can always be the case. But we did use the similar methodology that was used when establishing the initial fees back in 2016, when the city first started establishing annual regulatory licensing fees. And so one of these fees, that just to start off with, the manufacturing packaging only license, was actually from communication with our local licensees here in town, because there is a licensee that is doing packaging only. What this does is it evolves with what the state's doing at the state level. When we initially instituted licensing fees for cannabis, the state didn't have a packaging only manufacturing license. Before, it was just manufacturing volatile and non-volatile. They didn't have a packaging class. With multiple iterations of the regulations, this packaging license is now applicable. So to be specific, Next Greenwave has a packaging only state cannabis license. And to charge them $60,000 to just package products didn't seem reasonable. So it made sense that we look at some type of reasonable fee. So we used it similar to distribution. So that's where we kind of used that methodology there. These fees actually also reflect the recent decision by the council to go to quarterly inspections with SCI effective January 1. That's why you can see the fees are significantly less for the SCI, for the consulting fees as well. So that's really the only basis we had to develop these fees, is based on the methodology we used in the past. Now, yes, the city can go through a comprehensive study to be able to look at all the fees, based on the increased amount of licenses. That's something the city can definitely look at if the council so chooses. So these two fees use the same methodology that we used for our previous fees. So that's where the staff's coming from with this. So we do have an outdoor cultivation up to that 10,000 square feet. And then beyond that, it's a reduced fee, just like we do right now, which is 25% of the consultant fee for the additional 10,000 square feet, which is less than what we would charge if we charge them for an indoor grow, understanding that outdoor has a tendency to be scaled a lot larger than indoor. But we know it may not be perfect, but it's using the similar methodology, like I said before. That's where we came to these fees. So from that, we don't have an outdoor cultivation licensing fee at this time. So it's either we charge the indoor fee, or we at least have this in place, and then as we go through, if we need to update, we can update those fees as well.
And when would these fees be due if we did pass this today?
We would think these would probably be effective January 1. So we'll send out annually, we send out at the beginning of the calendar year, we send out their annual license schedule. So basically it says, okay, your license fee is due January 1st. It's late, I think January 30th, 31st. And then we provide them their quarterly tax schedule for all quarters of the year.
Okay, and how many, so as of right now, these fees would only apply to one company, right? Because we only have one company doing outdoor.
Yes.
I'm talking about the outdoor portion. And how much is being grown outdoor right now? About 2 acres?
I'd have to look. Give me a second. If there are
Approximately.
questions, I can answer those. What?
Approximately 2 acres, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's about 2 acres.
Okay.
So,
So that's, for one company, that's $240,000 in fees, which seems way high to me. And we're charging the same on outdoor grow as we are on indoor grow. But when we talk about outdoor grow, we're talking about a profit margin that is roughly half of what you would get on an indoor grow. So I would like to make a change in the fee structure. $240,000 for 2 acres in fees alone, I think is way overpriced. And that is not going to be conducive in bringing businesses to Coalinga, particularly cannabis businesses. So is there something that we can do before we approve this that can lower the fees? I mean, I hate to pass this and then have the outdoor grow owe the city $240,000.
That's up to the council. It's difficult to arbitrarily make set fees. It is based on the cost of service. Now, whether, and that's something based on using the previous methodology. We would probably need to go through some type of comprehensive study. I don't know if there's any stipulations the council can put on the fees where if the fees change, we can retroactively offset those. If they change them retroactively, set them back to today's date.
And
so
then
if we adjust the fees 6 months down the road and it's $200,000 cheaper, then we can either refund them or prorate it or offset it. I'm not sure. We want to stay within the same fiscal year, obviously, based on budgeting.
right. And then
I don't know how we can do that with the fees. Do you have?
I mean, do we have to go with $28,283? Do we have to go with that number,
You
or
do
can
not.
council say, you know what, we're going to say $10,000 per square acre per acre?
You can do that, but it's based on the cost of the city providing that service. So it's hard to pick a number because you have to justify how you got that.
But we also have to justify on the other end how we're charging it both ways. So how are we justifying?
Which is what that he's suggesting with the comprehensive fee.
Okay, my question is real simple. How long does it take you to do a comprehensive study? How long would that take?
We probably have to solicit it, do procurement for consulting services. I'm not sure how much it would cost for us. One, we'd have to come up with the cost to do that, which I'm not sure what that cost would be. We're only looking at like 10 fees, 15 fees, so it's not a tremendous burden. And then we have to look at the positions and look at everything, the time being spent. So.
And come spring, I believe they want to also grow on a possible 7 acres. And when we add that up, that's near $1 million in fees to the city. We're not even talking about taxes yet.
So do you have just a general, off the top of your head idea?
I'd say do a full study, probably 4 months maybe. What do you think, Jasmine?
Yeah.
Once we procure somebody, depending on the cost, and we can reach out to SCI and see, because that's what they actually do. They typically do miniature fee studies every time they generated their costs associated with monitoring and compliance. So looking at our fee structure probably won't be tremendous. I think if it's under a certain amount, we probably can just sole source it. And we can talk to SCI and see how quickly they could turn around a fee examination. We can get back to you on January 7th.
Could I make a suggestion that we do that and just table this idea until he can come back to us to see more specifically timeline, cost factor? Is that agreeable with everyone?
Does that work out, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, but just real quick, so in the original agreement before they even did this, this was the way we were gonna do it, correct? This was the way everything was set up to be done.
Based on 5
Based on-
companies.
Right.
And it was.
So then what's the change now? Is it because the price is too high? Is that what we're battling?
In full disclosure, yes, the fees were originally set up based on 5 applications, based on 5 entities. That's why we had that $27,050 basically is what for the city's fees. And the reason why it's $28,283 is because since we implemented the last fee study, our fees go up by CPI, right? So they go up a certain percentage, small percentage every year. So it's jumped up from 25 to 28. I mean, if the council wants to readjust to and average it out based on our total that was originally discussed, divided by how many entities we have now, you could do it that way. But sometimes the distributors, we tried to reduce those costs because those were not significant as the manufacturing and the cultivation, because the intensity of the inspections was less in terms of those facilities compared to distribution and like your testing facilities. We don't have. I mean, I don't have a problem with going forward with a fee study. It's probably the best way to look at what our costs are associated with these, because taxes are kind of the cost of doing business, where you can set not an arbitrary number, but you can set a reasonable number. But with fees, they do have to associate with the cost of service. So, I mean, ultimately, that's probably the best approach to look at it comprehensively. Now that we've been in the space for about 4 years now, going on almost 5. But the issue with staff right now is we just don't have a fee. If someone wants to open a outdoor cultivation, we don't have a fee charge. So we had to use the indoor cultivation fee to get them up and running.
So when we allowed outdoor grow, we never set a fee. So in other words, the company that came in to do an outdoor grow had no idea what the fees were going to be for their outdoor grow.
Well, in preliminary discussions, the assumption was that they were going to pay the indoor.
So then they were aware of what they would probably be paying prior to.
For the indoor, yes.
Right.
But there is a different association with outdoor. I mean, outdoor scaled a lot larger.
Right.
So that's where you try to, and that's why we did it even with indoor, because the bigger you scale, you're not necessarily, if you have 4 acres, not doing all the same tasks on every single plant on all 4 acres. You almost start batching when you start getting that large. Even the states look at it that way. They don't go and count every plant, look at everything, so they batch it. So the more you scale, it's not like it's not the same cost as you get bigger from 2 acres. And then if you go to 20 acres, it's not going to, you don't times it by 20 to get to that, or 10 to get to that rate.
And we also have to find ways to justify charging that much. So we would have to find a way to say that the city spends it when they go to 7 acres, nearly $1 million in personnel costs in order to have a fee structure that's that high. If we don't, and it doesn't cost the city $840,000, they can sue us.
Or they can challenge the fee.
Or they can sue us. So fees cannot be used to generate money for the city. They can only be used to cover costs that the city puts forward. Taxes are the only thing that we can use to generate money for the city. So when we set fees, we have to be able to justify that money that the city is using that money for personnel, for whatever else we may have. So that's where my concern comes in.
So I want to go back. Is it agreeable for everyone to just do a comprehensive study on this to get a little bit more clarification on it?
Yeah, we can definitely do that and bring it back.
Okay.
We're going to try to bring it back on January 7th, pay some costs. We can solicit a couple firms and see
Okay.
what the cost would be just to develop it.
I'd like to recommend that.
It depends on what the council wants to do with these. If you want to set these fees, and then once we implement the new fees, we adjust, or however we want to adjust that. I don't know what the easiest way is to adjust the fees.
I'd hate to set the fees this high and have them come in at $240,000 that they're going to owe the city come January.
Yeah, I mean, there's that's what you got. I mean, if you pass it, they're going to become due.
All right.
That doesn't mean you can't work out a deal with them after it's passed. There's not really a deal to be made necessarily tonight, or we could do some kind of tolling agreement on the fees.
I mean, I think what we could do is we could grant them an extension on the payment of those fees once fees are established. They
There you
don't
go.
necessarily
There
have
it
to be
is.
paid on January 1st or due on January 30th. You can just say, pay all your other fees, and then we'll be granting you a 60-day or 90-day extension to pay your annual regulatory fee,
Okay.
once that fee is established.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That will work.
Do we need a motion for all that?
We're preparing up our form, so we can just identify on that form a statement on there that basically no licensing fees are due until, once we kind of have an idea when that fee study will be done. So maybe it's July 1st or whatever, June 30th, and all the licensing fees come due for that year.
Right.
And then they have to pay, they'll back pay it, but they'll have to pay it based on the new rate that's established under the new fee study.
Okay.
You do that.
Sounds good to me.
That's-
Do we have to make a motion for all that or
No,
no?
You're
That
just
that
table.
sounds fair, like that.
We'll just continue that item.
Oh, yeah, so we may want to make a change to the comprehensive fee update.
Mhm.
Actually, I don't think that matters, because we're basically just freezing the license.
Okay.
Basically, all you're doing right now is just continuing it
So we'll freeze those fees.
until you have the study. Right.
Yeah, so we'll reach out to them, we'll reach out to everybody, we've got about, what, 8, that we'll reach out to and let them know that they're frozen, pending the study. That'll give us time to get the study completed. too.
Right,
Sounds good.
perfect. Okay, our next item was item 13, information only
Can we
regarding,
can we get a motion on that though? Since
oh,
we're gonna table and then freeze the council's okay. with
okay, do we have a
freezing the fees.
motion to freeze and table this item?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramsey,
Aye.
Councilmember Singleton, Councilwoman Stoles, Mayor Lander.
Aye. Okay, our next item is 13. Mr. Ramsey, information only regarding the Coalinga Police Department's response to the governor's curfew order.
What I brought that up for is because we had that email tonight about a possible, basically shutdown for this, for everybody. And I wanted to know if this counts towards that too.
So this item on here, as the police chief placed it on, he had to run out. 'cause they have an
Right.
emergency right now. But this was specific to the 10 PM curfew order. And it's not specific to the lockdown that was announced today. And so that may change, but it's my understanding that most law enforcement agencies will also not be enforcing the shutdown if it applies to their region. But that's not what this item says.
Right.
And just to let you know, I spoke with the chief today, and he said he was going to not enforce the curfew. He said he is going to follow Sheriff Margaret Mims' train of thought in that have bigger issues to deal with, such as crime, etc., rather than worrying about whether somebody's out after 10 o'clock.
Right.
Anyway, that was what he had to say. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar? With approval of number 13. That's information only. Do we have a motion? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Atkinson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramsey,
Aye.
Councilmember Singleton, Councilwoman Stoles, Mayor Lander.
Aye. Our next, yes.
So I accidentally missed a public comment that was sent in to the info@coalinga.com.
Okay.
So can I just read that real
Yes,
quick before we move on?
absolutely.
Dear City Council, on behalf of myself and many other grateful citizens, I would like to thank you for your unanimous vote to keep in place the original marijuana safety distance as we were promised and assured. This type of honesty and integrity the tax-paying citizens you serve depend upon, and again, we are grateful.
And did it say who?
It says,
Okay, thank you. Okay, our next item is discussion, direction, and potential action regarding a sidewalk cost sharing program. Mr. Miller. Okay. Sean.
So tonight, staff seeking direction from the council as to how to proceed. We've kind of outlined, as you recall, back in August, we passed an ordinance clarifying the legal responsibility to maintain sidewalks, which really reflected the California Streets and Highways Code. And as part of that ordinance passing, it was discussed about a potential for a cost sharing program to assist residents in repairing sidewalks that are in disrepair. And so staff's been doing some work, and I give Larry about 100% of the credit for doing the research and looking into types of programs that other jurisdictions have, big and small. and trying to find a program that would fit Coalinga, because we are pretty small. When it comes to projects, typically we're pretty small scale, and it's very difficult to get contractors out here. And so we've kind of done some research, and we're trying to look at a program that would work here in the city, try to generate enough of a project to be able to get contractors and get good costs and get our residents' money worthwhile in terms of their contribution to the repairs. And so what we've looked at is whether it be a dollar for dollar matching or a per square foot amount allotment. We'd be looking at like collecting applications maybe over a 3 to 4 month period to create a larger scope of work. So we would have like an application period. Homeowners can apply, say that, hey, I've got some dilapidated sidewalk, or I've got tripping hazards that I need repaired. And we'll go out, do an inspection, and if it qualifies, we would go ahead and look at it based on how much we contribute, whether it be a 50-50 match. We would basically say, okay, this is what needs to be done. We would work with our city engineer to generate what a cost per square foot would be based on current construction numbers. And we basically say, okay, if you have, say you have 100 square feet of sidewalk that needs to be repaired, and we would estimate that based on a cost estimate and say, okay, this is what your contribution would be based on a 50-50 split. Because of the project scope and the size, what we would do is we would get multiple applications and we would create a large project. So it depends on how much the council budgets annually. It's very difficult to budget a substantial amount of money for sidewalks. We are going to be addressing a lot of sidewalk issues in the next couple of years, if not less than 2 years. So we're assuming there's not going to be a lot of major issues with sidewalks coming in the future. However, we'd be able to generate a project, say for example, 40,000 a year. We would be able to, we would budget 40, which would create an $80,000 project. If it was a 50-50 match, then we would be able to go to contractors, go out to bid, and do the project. Now, for instance, for example, if the council is comfortable, we would be able to basically, if it came in 100,000, the city would staff would come back to council and say, hey, bids came in, we got approved. Council has to approve the award anyways. They came in 20,000 over bid. We've got X street funds that we can use to contribute and in addition, and then approve the project. So we're not going back to the residents asking for more money. We do it based on a quantified engineer's estimate, but because the project size is smaller, those quantities might be higher. And so that's kind of the basis of what we're looking at. And what we're looking for tonight is hopefully the council's looked at the kind of the draft program that we put in the agenda. You guys concur with that. We'd like to refine a little bit more and then come back and do a formal adoption of it. So we're not looking for you to adopt it tonight. We just want to, this is kind of the direction that we're going with it. And we'd like to be able to bring this forward closer to budget time. And so we have a dollar amount, and then we just basically set that policy every year as we go to budget. What's the amount of money that we want to contribute? Maybe when July 1st hits, we have our engineer's cost estimate. We know how much as part price per square foot is going to be for sidewalk, and then we have that number in that budget year. And then we open up an application process for 3 to 4 months, and then we do one project. There may be instances where we have a big project like Sunset that may be a local project, as long as it's not federally funded. We can piggyback off that project and say, hey, we got a $500,000 project. Let's add these extra sidewalks project. Let's add these sidewalk repairs, and then we can maybe include that and get a better scale. If it's federal, we can't because you have environmental issues. Once you get approved for your federal funding, the project has to be scoped at that time. You can't add additional scope last minute. But with local projects, we can. So that's kind of the gist. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's kind of what we wanted to bring to you guys tonight to see if that sounds like a reasonable, equitable program that we can perhaps implement, even if it's small to start out with.
Council?
I think it's a great program because in all the past years, we've had people come and want us to do their sidewalks or they want to know who's responsible for the sidewalks. So this is going to show them that we're both responsible, you know, and the city is not just pushing it off on them. And they know that the city will do it right too if we do it together. So I think this is a great project.
I agree. Lord knows there's sidewalk issues all over the city of Coalinga. I walk a lot, and I see it, especially right by the fire department. That's been an ongoing issue for many years. The street I live on is an issue with PG&E, we think. But anyway, so yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it needs to be a little bit more specific as we go on, obviously, you know, and I know that's,
Be able to refine the program.
I know you're going to do that, yeah.
You kind of outlined to the council tonight in terms of what that looks like.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
And when you do this, would you encase, like there's some areas, like over on, I think it's Pine Street or something, they don't even have sidewalks in areas, and they've talked about it. Would the city look at that and
Well, we've
go?
got a lot of federal funding and state ATP funding. So we're going to be doing a significant amount of sidewalk repair here in the next year. With the Affordable Housing Sustainable Communities Grant, we've got probably close to $500,000 in safety improvements. That includes lighting and sidewalks, bike lanes. We also have ATP, or the third cycle 3 funding that's over there with schools, but it encompasses basically from Monterey to Sunset to Polk Street all the way to Cambridge, so that entire rectangle. A significant amount of curb ramps, missing sidewalks. And then we also have a contract with Precision Concrete, or I think it's Precision Cutting or Precision Concrete Cutting. And they are going to be going throughout the city. So just as an advisory to the residents, there are folks that are going to be going around town, and if you're starting in District 2 next week, doing inspections of all the sidewalk. So that we're doing over the next 3 years, there'll be a full inspection of every sidewalk in the city. And then what they will be doing is, as they move through, they'll be doing saw cutting of the sidewalks for trip hazards. So all the trip hazards that are up to 2 inches, they have a kind of a proprietary method to use a diamond cut saw that saws down the trip hazards. So they're going to go do all of that. And that's what the council approved, at $100,000 for the inspection and all the repairs. And then they'll give us recommendations for all the other repairs that are beyond what they can do with the saw cutting. So there's a lot in the next few years that we're going to see improvements in the city for sidewalks.
Great.
So this gentleman's looking for direction. Do we want to pursue this and follow through? Yes, everybody
I say
agrees?
yes.
Okay, you have your direction. Okay, our next item is, I hate this thing. Our next item is announcements, city manager's announcements.
I have one. I just wanted to let everyone know that we have the utility assistance grant open right now. And the information is on the city website. You can even just Google City of Coalinga Utility Assistance and it'll come up. And there's the application and the guidelines there. And so if anyone needs utility assistance in paying their water, gas, wastewater, or electricity bill, they can apply.
Okay, thank you. Council members' announcements or reports? Okay, Tanya?
Dear council, staff, and citizens, as my term comes to a conclusion in January, I want to say thank you for electing me in 2016 to represent not only you, but the city of Coalinga. It has truly been an honor to serve you. As I ecstatically transition into my next chapter, I reflect back on having successfully fulfilled my promises to the citizens and accomplished goals for the city of Coalinga and myself. I did what I came to do. I am beyond excited that the 2 candidates I chose to endorse and support were both elected in their districts. Congratulations, guys. A few words of wisdom for incoming council members Jim Horn and Manny Ramirez. No matter how hard you work or how much you accomplish, there will always be a small, insignificant group of people attempting to discredit you and make you fail. As I did, turn their negative energy into more ambition and you will always achieve your goals. Always remember, be true to yourself and the citizens that elected you. In closing, I would like to say thank you again, Coalinga, and November 2022 is coming. Respectfully, Tanya Stoltz, Councilwoman, District 4, and once again, let this reflect in the minutes for the record. I'm giving the city clerk a hard copy, so my words cannot be twisted, edited, dubbed out of audio, or changed in any way to be in the local paper or on social media.
Any other council members' announcements?
I just wanted to, one thing, I haven't heard it officially, but I heard that the hospital is open. I don't know if anybody else has
Yes.
any more information about that. It's supposedly opened about 10 o'clock today, and the fire departments, are they going there yet, or?
No, the hospital opened at 10 a.m. this morning. They are not accepting ambulance patients until December 7th at 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m. on December 7th, okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. But at least we got our hospital, and I hope everybody supports it.
Okay, under mayor's, and thank you, Ron. Under mayor's announcements, I did go out there this morning at 10 o'clock to the, I gotta take this out. I did go out there this morning at 10 o'clock, and I tried to go through the front door. Well, I got stopped, and I had a mask on, and there was another lady there who was trying to just get through there, and they had to stop her. And finally he says, "And how can I help you, sir?" And I said, "Well, I'm just here to congratulate you on your opening and all that." And he goes, "Who are you?" I said, "The mayor." And he goes, "Oh my God, Ron." He said, "I didn't recognize you with your mask." Anyway, they don't let you through the front. The only way that you can go through anything is through the back where the emergency is. And you have to do the COVID testing and all that. Very, very happy that they're there. They're all excited about it. And anyway, we're very pleased, obviously. I tried to work with them throughout the last year or more to try to get this thing up and running. And I'm telling you right now, I did speak to somebody who's friends of them, who's in the medical field, but not involved here. And he said, "You will be truly surprised at what a nice facility you're going to have." He says, "You will be amazed." And the other announcement that I would, excuse me, I'd like to make is thank you all again. Thank Coalinga. I would really like to thank the citizens of Coalinga. And I can't say just for a specific district because I've never run in a specific district. But overall, I thank the citizens of this town for all their support through all the years. My family has been in this town since the 1800s. And so it has been truly an honor for me to represent this town and the hardworking people of this community. Again, thank you. And thank you all here for working with me. Any future agenda items?
I don't think I got to add a future agenda item for the new fee structure or having it. No, okay. I'm good with that. Okay. Also would like to put on the agenda to look at a new tax structure for cannabis, especially with us expanding so much. Maybe something of a stepped system where, you know, the first acre is taxed at $7 and the next acre is taxed at whatever. Come up with something like that. Obviously, I'm not expecting this to be at the next meeting, but I would hope that we could get something in place before the next fiscal year.
Okay, any other? Okay, we'll be going into closed session. We have 3 items. Item 1 is conference with labor negotiators, Government Code 54957.6, city negotiator, city manager Marissa Trejo, and city attorney Mario Zamora. Employee organization, general employees, and the Coalinga Police Officers Association. Item 2 is, excuse me, the city manager's performance evaluation, Government Code 54957B. Item 3 is the city attorney's performance evaluation, Government Code 54957B. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for your participation and have a great evening.